Hello all and welcome to episode 32 of the Sky Fantasy Podcast by Fantasy Football Hub as we look ahead to Sky Gameweek 14. My name is Andrew and I'm joined as usual by two of the most successful Sky managers in the game. Firstly, Paul McAnulty. How was your weekend gone, Paul?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, Fergie. KDB's captain yesterday, and I picked the wrong captain out of Kane, Vardy and Salah today, but owning all three is probably going to see me a decent enough rise, I think.
Nice. And Dan, how about you? Zuma again. I knew Leeds would score. And when they scored, I thought, yes. You know when you kind of think, think how something's going to work out. 'Cause I'm planning on bringing in either next week or the week after, and they scored early. Nowhere near passing. And obviously, he gets the goal. Just unbelievable. But he did it again for you.
Yeah, what a beast, mate. He's going to be the...
Unreal.
He's the Van Dijk of this season.
He
pass and bonus. He's getting more goals than Van Dijk ever got, I think. So, he's amazing, isn't he? Till he gets dropped or something. Do you know what I mean?
It doesn't look like he's going to, in all fairness. He had his rest last weekend in Champions League, didn't he? So
if anyone, that's Silver, isn't it? Silver will get a rest, but Zuma's is playing everything, isn't he? So, it's good news. He's just so great, and he's 7.8 million, and he's passing, and the goals is just unreal. He keeps getting the goals, but the clean sheets and the pass, and he's just he's a beast of a player at the minute.
He is. I just saw Todd in the chat. 127 points for me so far. Well done, Todd. That's an incredible game week. Okay, so as we are live, please feel free to join in the chat at any time. Let us know your thoughts on the topics throughout the relevant sections, and feel free to ask some questions for us to answer throughout and at the end. Good evening, all. But yeah, we got a lot in this evening. Auto Reclose, Matt Bell, Frank FF Steph, Kia McKenna, Norman Conquest, Michael N, Ian Parring, Christy Rose, Leandrew Patterson, Peter G, Wilsler Wynn, Saif Ali, Stephen Colhart. I can't go through everyone, guys, because that'll take about half the podcast. But thank you so much for joining us as usual. For any new watchers and listeners, if you haven't subscribed to us yet, please press the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen and set the alerts so you don't miss our live streams at 9 p.m. every Sunday evening right here on this channel. Also, please press the like button if you enjoy our content. A lot of likes would be very much appreciated, guys, especially those who have taken our advice over the last week or two and jumped on the train, which we will talk about in a bit. So tonight, Paul will share some stats for us. Dan will share some ownership and transfer stats. We will answer some Twitter questions. We will look back at the 3-for-1s and see if any of us have jumped on the trains there. We'll look ahead to Sky Game Week 14 next week, share our plans, give some mid-league updates, and finish off with Dan's rank. We'll probably just glide over the mid-league updates because I've gone down to thirds. I don't think it's probably important as it was, gents, but we'll see how it goes.
Wrap it.
So straight into it. Paul, stats.
So I'm going to revert back and have a look at the season to date for a couple of the tackles and the passes. So looking not so much at the bonus, but looking at overall successful tackles. You can see that Allen's out in front on 38. My boy Romeo's on 37, just behind him. And then Dallas, who's highly owned, I guess, amongst listeners, 6.4 million, sitting third there. Some notable players in there, or some players of interest. So Conor Gallagher, 23 tackles, he's in the top 20 there. And obviously chipping in the goals now, so he scored another goal today again. 6 million, really nice enabler in midfield for anybody that wants to take the plunge there or is trying to have a restructure of their team. Wan-Bissaka climbing back up again. Man United's going to have a game in hand at some point, played perhaps in January time, so it may be worth looking at their assets again. Hopefully for them they start showing up and giving us fantasy managers options for Man United again outside of Bruno. Another player on there that I haven't talked much about before is Yves Bissouma. So he's 6.7 million. For those without a captain tomorrow and perhaps looking to do a restructure, he could offer a nice differential there. Not got a really high ceiling, but seems to be picking up tackle bonus and quite frequent. Moving on to successful passes then. You see that N'Golo Kante is up to 5th overall. I really like Canty in that role. He was playing too far advanced for my liking in terms of being a Sky Fantasy asset under Sarri, but now that Lampard's playing him in that defensive midfielder role that he played for Leicester, seems to be picking up more tackle and more pass bonus. A couple of other players of interest there. Adam Webster for Brighton, 7.3 million, offers the passing potential, but also a goal threat from corners as well. And then you can see the usual suspects. Gabriel's up there in 6th. Kurt Zuma's in 3rd. So plenty of options that are really cut price in that passing bracket. And then I should say that all of this is from FF Stuff. Frank, that's in the chat, thanks very much for continuing to provide excellent Sky stats. And this slider that you've put in for the player bonus points is great. And what it really helps anyone that's of an analytical mind and wants to use stats to make decisions is it gets rid of the noise from earlier on in the season for perhaps players that have lost their place in teams. So what I've been doing is looking at the last 4 weeks and looking at overall bonus for the last 4 weeks. So you can see on screen just now, we've got game weeks 9 to 12 and have a look at the bonus magnets there. So Canty sitting way out in front, 8.1 with 12 bonus points. Now, I know that he didn't pick up any bonus against Leeds yesterday, but I almost try and eradicate games against Leeds from any stats that I pick, because you can see that the top players were like Zuma didn't pick up passing bonus, and then earlier in the season the Man City centre halves weren't picking up passing bonus against Leeds, so almost take that out of my decision making. So you see Canty up there. Other notable players, Reece James, 7.8 million. He might be a nice double up for those that have already got Zuma. I know there's a nice jump on spot in a couple of game weeks time where Chelsea play on the 3rd calendar day. So I know there was talk, you had mentioned someone came to Werner as a potential 3-for-1, but I'd be more interested in the Chelsea defensive assets, I think, and then perhaps making a move of someone that had lost their place, or if I was looking to restructure again and already had Zuma, then bringing in Reece James might be a nice alternative there. Romeo sitting in there with 7 bonus points. Again, I'm kind of looking more for the budget-friendly players. Max Lowe down the bottom there, actually, he got hooked at half-time today for Sheffield United. I wouldn't be touching any Sheffield United players anyway. Calvin Phillips I really like. Seems like he's catching the commentator's eye as well. So 7.1 million for Leeds. Kyle Walker, those that brought in Kyle Walker were unlucky this week, I think. That's a round up of the stats.
I think with Kante, he's gone over the radar, because I don't think we've even mentioned him this season, have we? But top of the bonus points the last 4 weeks, assuming that's obviously a massive mixture of passes and tackles with Chelsea, how they play. I've got to be fair, I wasn't sure on Chelsea, but watching them last week against Spurs and this week against Leeds, they look the real deal. And how they didn't score, a couple against Spurs, how they didn't score 4 or 5, or even more against Leeds yesterday. They were so, sloppy with their finishing and stuff. They look the real deal. And I think for that 3-4 and later on in the month, I was thinking of just going in with Zuma, but I'm wondering now whether there's opportunity actually to steal a mark a little bit there, maybe going with someone else. Werner must be so frustrating to own. I can't. Like yesterday, he should have scored, but he's the same every week. To be fair, like as an owner, as I own him in a a kind of other formats, I always feel like he could have come away easily with a hat trick, and he came with just an assist yesterday. But some interesting.
0.89 or something like that for the XG on that shot that hit the bar. But it's like, from Chelsea's point of view, I know that we're coming up to a really congested period, but I mentioned Reece James there, but if you don't know Kurt Zuma, I think he's likely to play every game. Maybe miss one, but it feels like Thiago Silva would come out and Rudiger would come in for that kind of rest game for over the period. I think it's like 3 games in 7 days or something like that. Ben Chilwell looks nailed on as well. 9 million he is on the dot. And then Kanté, I just think there's no like-for-like replacement for Kanté in that team. So at 8.1 million, he's likely to play all the games, maybe miss one game, but picking up bonuses regular as he is now, definitely one to keep an eye on.
Liverpool game has finished 4-0. So just for those who haven't seen it, Matip scored and got a clean sheet. So well done anyone who's held on to Matip. Salah got a goal and an assist. We wait with bated breath for who got man of the match. Apparently Adam Byram says that they gave it to Robertson on Amazon. So it'll be interesting to see who they give it to in Sky.
Ali McCoy's on commentary though, so there's a bit of bias towards Robertson. I think he'd been talking about the Euro Championships constantly.
Oh yeah, that's good shows.
He did play really well, to be fair.
So talking about ownership then and stats, Dan, on to you. Can you give us some ownership stats?
Yeah, so like you said, all our info's from Frank's site, FF Stuff, brilliant site. If you haven't visited it, you should do, especially the match day centre. You know, I think we've all before looked at football and stuff, and you click on each player, see what they're on. Frank's got everything on there for the whole team. It's just an easy, and they're highlighted when they've hit tiers. It's amazing work. So cheers to him. So these are the top 5 transfers in since last Sunday, the 29th of November. Vardy, the most in, over 13,000 teams. Ward-Prowse into over 12,000 teams. They played last Sunday, didn't they? So that's would have come in then. He'll be a good captain as well tomorrow. Yeah. Mahrez into 8,500 teams. Obviously, his hat trick got down a storm. So this is after the hat trick. He's been brought in by 8,500 teams.
He was really unlucky yesterday, though. I thought he played really, really well, and he was really unlucky. I thought.
Yeah, he didn't get nothing, did he? Yesterday?
No, he didn't get anything. No,
nothing. No. So yeah, that many. But I think that's a lot of people that have seen him get the hat trick and whip him in, and typical, innit? He then do nothing the next game. Zuma into 5,500 teams, and then Salah, he was into 5,400 teams. That's your top ins. The top outs was Jimenez, nasty clash of heads. So he was out of 9, just under 10,000 teams. Kane was took out of just under 10,000 teams as well. Grealish out of 9,500. Obviously, their game got postponed, cancelled on Friday because of the COVID. Robertson just got a clean sheet. He's been taken out of 6,300. And Zaha been taken out of 4,500 since last Sunday. I'll come to it now. Since the 15th of November, Zaha's been taken out of 44,000 teams. That's because he obviously missed them 2 games. So annoying, isn't it? Then 19 points today. But that's how it goes. And quickly go through the top 1,000 most owned. Bruno Fernandes, 95.4%. De Bruyne, 81.2. That jumped up. That was about 40, I think, yesterday. So obviously his haul has increased that because teams have gone into the top
60 it was yesterday, Dan. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, 60, yeah. So yeah, good 20% jump. Yeah. Vardy in 77.1. Grealish still in 74.9. Kane in 63.4. Calvert-Lewin in 60.8%. Zuma in 48.7. He's slowly getting there. Dallas in 40.8. Chilwell in 40.1, and Patricio just letting 4 on 29.2%.
And Salah on about 27%, I think, one year at this afternoon.
Yeah.
So
low. Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what, all 3 of us were in a chat this morning talking about the captaincy because we were all really stuck, weren't we, between Vardy, Kane, and Salah. I think in the end it's kind of much of a must-ness. There's only a few points between all 3 of them, but it's one of those decisions that I just thought, no matter what you do, you're going to pick the wrong one, aren't you? But who did you go for after, guys? Were you both on Vardy after?
Vardy, yeah.
Gosh, sporny. I actually had a bit of a kip this afternoon during the second half, and I woke up and it was like just approaching full time. I didn't have any notifications on my phone, and I thought, I'm getting away with this. And just as I was supposed to put my phone down, it popped up Vardy goal 90. Couldn't believe it. But I did own him, but I didn't captain him. But thankfully, I put it on Salah. It'd be really, really good if he gets him out of the match.
For anyone that owns all 3, I wouldn't be too disappointed.
No, of course.
Everyone always doubles the captain points, but then you're only actually losing out on the single net value between a single points. So even if Salah picks up man of the match, well, that'd be 15, and I'm getting 9 doubled for Vardy. So I'm actually only losing 6 net points. It's not 6 doubled to 12. So it's not. I don't beat myself up too much about those decisions.
Oh, fair enough. Dan, have we got any average transfers remaining? I think the latest one's from Thursday, was it?
Yeah. So the top 10 average remaining transfers is 3.7. Top 100 was 11.9. Top 1,000 was 19.5. And the top 5,000 was 22. So that was them.
So anyone who is wondering about transfer use, if you're above them, you're doing all right. In the spot you're doing okay. And even if you're lower down in the ranks, and you've got more. If you're down at kind of 8, 10, 12k with 30 odd transfers left, you're doing absolutely fine. It's a long old season. It only takes one captaincy to change the whole complexion of the season. We find that every year.
Sorry, mate. I think you'd even be surprised at how low, because not trying to then make yourself sound big-headed, but because I'm always around that sort of 1,000 place by about now, I sort of then don't call. But I think even Liam, when he was on, he was about 80,000 at a certain point, when he
was, yeah.
You just climb. So even if you are think you've had a nightmare in 80,000 or something, you'll be surprised how much, if you just keep to a plan and keep plugging away, how much you will climb. So don't be disheartened and just keep playing your own game and ignore them all, because going by this, they're going to be at transfers soon.
Couple of questions in the chat. Tom Klimpson, thoughts on Calvert-Lewin to Adams? Paul, what do you think about that?
I'd be if I had Calvert-Lewin and I wanted to get rid of him, I'd be more tempted with Bamford on Friday night. I know that you're not getting the double game tomorrow, but I think that would be my move if I was looking to get him out for a third striker spot.
Leeds fixtures for the next, I think until the overhaul, are absolutely beautiful, and I think 3 of the next 4 are at home. Stunning fixtures, so yeah, I think it's a good shout. Ultra close, Dan. Any good budget Newcastle players? I think their match next week may be off against West Brom, or it's looking like it might be off. I would personally avoid. What do you think, Dan?
Newcastle, God. I know that we said about Wilson that night, whatever, but I wouldn't be looking at any Newcastle players really.
Well, they may not have even trained together as a team for a week or two as well. I think
they have got West Brom next though, if they do play.
If they play, I think the next 3 are really, really nice, aren't they? I think they're home to West Brom, away to someone else, and then home to another really nice fixture. But
you don't need Newcastle for any captaincy, do you? So I'd swerve and mate.
Jamal Lewis picks up tackle bonus, but then I went and looked at how much he was, and 6.9. I think it was robbery. I thought he was going to be. I thought he'd be more around the 6 million mark. Where I was saying if you were picking up a budget player, maybe. But yeah.
So we had a question off Fire and Blow, which I think we might have answered. How many transfers is a good total to have at this point? Again, I'd look at FF Stuff's site. There's some really good stuff on there, but it all depends on your rank, right? So if you're hovering between, I don't know, anywhere up to 10,000 with 30 odd transfers left, you're probably in pretty good shape, I would say. A few points on Zuma. Phil Hurst is looking to bring in Zuma. I'm definitely bringing in that header he scored was just a blow to the. It's like a dagger to the heart. It was a blow to the dagger. You're bringing in as well now, are you, Paul? Next week?
Yeah. I always look to get an extra game out of a player before swapping them, but I'm not doing it next week. I'm not. I can't have Dan in the WhatsApp chat after Zuma brings on 10 points, 9 points, 10 points, 9 points, 9 points, 10 points.
Unreal. Okay, so now on screen we've got Ian's transfer trail and 3-for-1s that he mentioned last week. There was a very popular move mooted, and I know I've done it. I'm not sure, if you guys, I think Ian Parrin has done it as well, but I moved Bruno on today for Salah. Now I will miss Bruno's game at home to Man City, and judging by his performance yesterday, that may be a mistake, right? Because he's always likely to get some kind of points. He's really, really good. But I brought him today to captain him. I'll be having him away to Fulham as captain. Then they're home to Spurs, I think, on either Tuesday or Wednesday night before bring Bruno back in the next day, probably as captain against Sheffield United. That was the kind of really popular sort of move we were talking through. So I have done that. Dan, are you on that, or are you doing something else, roughly?
Something else. I think I might do Bruno to Danny Ings tomorrow if he starts. Or I might skip it. I don't know. But yeah, I think I'll go because Southampton got 3-1 over United as well. So if Danny Ings starts, then possibly him.
But you're not on that at all. Then you're going a different way. So who is your strikers at the moment then?
Salah, Vardy.
Salah and Vardy. Okay.
In one of the teams. Like I said, I've got both teams are. One's just in the top 1,000, the other one's just outside it. So probably should both be in the top 1,000 tonight. So both teams will going all right. I'm not committing to one or the other yet. So I'm spreading it slightly.
Okay.
And this was a secret transfer that you did last week that you were telling us about. So you don't have so you don't have Kane. Is basically which neither of us knew.
Can't disclose that information. We're on embargo.
And
Paul, in terms of your plans, then are you on the train?
So the Bruno to Salah, miss Bruno against Man City next week, and then Salah, and then Vardy to Bruno. So get a bit of Vardy at the end of the daisy chain.
Okay, and so we'll look at our captains in a bit. The next really popular move then was the Spurs to Chelsea player on December the 21st. What are our kind of thoughts there? Dan, you were kind of thinking of sticking with Zuma. Is that still your plan, or after watching them yesterday, you think they've been a bit more aggressive?
Yeah, I think so, because looking at the fixtures, I'm hoping we might get the next, because there's still a few in January, aren't they, in Feb that aren't quite mapped out yet. So hopefully we'll get them. But yeah, I was looking at it, and I could get to the end of this, to New Year's Day, only using another one or two. So I was like, do you know what? I don't want to go to the second overhaul and have 25 transfers left to use in 15
And everyone's
weeks.
basically got the same team then, haven't they? That's the thing.
Yeah, so I might go for it, but I don't know really. Chelsea's just so annoying at the minute. Like Giroud got the 4 goals in midweek, then he started again yesterday, and
he looks brilliant.
Because I was sort of thinking I could do I'll have Kane back in by then. No, I won't. I might flip onto him, but do I go for Werner, who's going to look like he's going to score 4 goals, but get 1 assist and clear one off the line, or do I then go for Chilwell and have Zuma and Chilwell, and against West Ham, Arsenal, Villa,
not a bad shout.
Could keep a couple of clean sheets, couldn't they? And do you know what I mean? So I don't know really. Yes, I'm going to be on it, but whether I go for another defender or wait for Werner, he's going to score a hat trick one of these days. So
yes, I think
if he hadn't done it by then, he might be in for the West Ham game and go for that, or against that. I just don't know. But yeah, either or.
I think from memory, Spurs have got the captain game, haven't they, on the 30th of December, home to Fulham. I think which is the one you're going to want. I'm assuming Kane. It may be someone else at that point, but Kane at the moment, he's such a darling for man of the match, isn't he? I know Højbjerg was exceptional earlier, and and he really was. But I thought that Kane again, he's everywhere: defense, attack, setting up the goal, scoring the goal. You could
that ball in for Son, the first goal was amazing. I was in his own half, wasn't it? But just to see it and. Yeah, but he's great.
He's on the end of all the corners and free kicks as well, and he, kind of heading them out and stuff as well. He just looks nice.
Didier Drogba, he reminds me of when he was playing.
Yeah,
really great defensive asset in your own box from set pieces.
Ian has just said Chelsea, Man City, and Tottenham Leeds scheduled for January 2nd, so potentially could get an additional game there. We'll have a look at that, Ian. It's getting exciting around that time. Okay, we've just had a few questions on Twitter. We didn't have many today. I'd like to think that after last week, everyone's kind of got their plans all sorted the next week or two. We didn't have a lot of questions, but I will just go through some. So we had one, who's the best captain for tomorrow? This was off Adam Robertson, Bear. Can you pick 2 just in case one of them gets COVID? Zaha. That's the second time I missed out on his hauls now. Want Dan to get out a candle and hold a vigil for us. Cursed one. So a couple of captains for tomorrow, Jen. So Dan's obviously talked about Ings, you fancy, and they're home to Sheffield United on Saturday as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah, they are.
Sunday, but yeah.
Oh, Sunday. Sorry.
Sunday, yeah.
And I think Paul, you and I are on Romeo. I would say not particularly a captain pick as such.
I've got Ben. Yeah, I've got Ben White as well. But I think, I talk about Romeo too much to not captain him, I think.
Any other options there? I do like Ward-Prowse. I'm just not sure he's worth a transfer, if you know what I mean. Against Brighton, they're very up and down, aren't they? Brighton and normally only concede a goal, maybe. So I'm not sure.
They always just concede a goal, though, don't they? Is the problem? There'll be quite a few people at Lamptey still, so
yeah.
I just don't know if you don't want to bring in Ings, do you know what I mean? There's Captain Lamptey or Romeo, but I ain't got anyone, so I might as well go for Danny Ings, mightn't I, and hope for a couple of goals. But at least I can see if he's starting or not, because I know he's just come back from injury, and that's always a bit of a worry. So I'm glad there's only one game on.
I like Vestergaard from Southampton. Although I don't know that he'll pick up passing bonus against Brighton, but he has been picking passing bonus up. 6.5 looks to be nailed. I really like the Southampton defence now. That I don't know. Every time I watched when Jack Stevens played, I always felt a bit nervous. Yeah. But Vestergaard and Bednarak kind of look a more solid backline. Vestergaard 6.5 outside chance of attacking returns. I wouldn't be going out my way, but sorry, I keep talking about you about this week.
No, agree. We had a question off Davlar. I need Salah back in, but when is the best time to get him in? Who will I take him out for? Kane, Son, or Vardy? Dan, what do you think about
that? Well, I'd say you'd want Salah next Sunday against Fulham, but Tottenham are playing the same day. Leicester are playing the same day. Manchester United do play on Saturday, so you could move something but most people have already taken out Bruno now, haven't they? Or do you know what I mean? But it depends how many strikers you've already got. But there's no easy way of switching out Kane or Vardy to him, because I say you'd want him for the Fulham game, wouldn't you, rather than the Spurs game the following week. So yeah, I don't know, mate. It's tricky. Depends who you got. If you've got Calvert-Lewin, you could take him out after Everton played Chelsea on Saturday for Salah on Sunday if you've got the money for it. But that's going to be tricky.
I think for what it's worth, being a Spurs fan, and I said this on the FPL side, I personally think that Son tends to play better and score more points against the better teams because they allow more space in behind. Aside from Liverpool, next midweek, Spurs have a really nice run of fixtures, which Kane tends to do better in than Son. So I would personally, and for ownership, right? Kane's ownership is like 71% or something in the top 1K, and he generally always gets man of the match as well. So out of those three, I would probably say to take out Son, but Vardy's fixtures also end in a few weeks as well. But you're going to want Salah in before then, so I would say Son, and then look to move Vardy on there in a couple of weeks for the the next big thing there. Personally, Paul, anything to add there?
There is no perfect time to get them in now, so you're not going to, and what I mean by that is you're not going to gain an extra game from taking someone out that's already played that game week or not. So if you really want them, you're probably, I would move Son as well, and it would probably be next Sunday if I was desperate to get him.
Question, Paul, from Auto Close. Could Podence emerge as a good budget midfielder, especially with Jimenez out? He's probably nailed. What do you think about that, Paul?
Yeah, I just don't like their fixtures. I don't think they've got great fixtures. They've not got great fixtures coming up. I would still prefer someone like Romeo, Højbjerg around that price point. Even Conor Gallagher, if you really needed the budget. If you were looking at a premium strike force like Vardy, Kane, Salah moving forward, you're going to have to make downgrades in places. And Conor Gallagher might be a good option to be able to do that.
I think that if Wolves get a captaincy game or two potentially in January when the fixtures are done, I know that probably the keeper Patricio will probably be the most popular option, but I do think Podence at 6.6 could be worth. I think he's a fabulous player. I owned him for a long time in FPL. I got a couple of returns at the end. He looks really, really sharp. Oh, Cian McKenna, man of the match, Salah lads. Apparently, that's
lovely.
That's an extra 6 points for captainers there. Very, very nice. If that is right, I hope you're right there, Cian. That will be really good for Salah captainers. Just have a look if we've had any more questions. If you do have any more questions, can you just stick them in the chat now? We'll just have a look at some questions. Chris Sharkey, what to do with James Rodriguez? Plan was to move on to Antonio after Boxing Day for West Ham versus Brighton, but it's too long to go with him underperforming. A tough run of fixtures for Everton. Already have Romeo for tomorrow. Dan, what do you think on Rodriguez?
I was hoping you're going to ask Paul.
I have got an answer though.
Go on, you go on.
Zuma. Go on, Paul.
So if Chris Sharkey's my cousin, by the way. So
right,
so if he's got, I don't know what his team is, but if he's got Rodriguez and he's already got Romeo, unless he's playing 3-5-2, he doesn't have Bruno, KDB, or Grealish.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be manufacturing a move to one of them. I know that you can move straight to Grealish. If it was KDB or Bruno that I didn't own, and I didn't have the budget, I would make a downgrade somewhere to be able to do that, because I think that's kind of the template midfield moving forward. Certainly the midfield that I would want. As I say, I don't know if he already owns those. But if he was on 3-5-2, then I would make a defensive move.
Zuma, you haven't got him.
or Gabriel. Arsenal play at home at Burnley on next Sunday, so you feel like he's definitely going to pick up passing bonus there, and then they start on a next run of games against teams that don't keep possession well. So
cool. At Guest Chef Kelvin, what options do you have in attack for the December fixtures? You probably want to listen to last week's when Kelvin, if you haven't already, we went through it all in depth there. But we're all kind of hopping around. Kane, Vardy, Salah, Bruno, I think is the kind of four we and KDB obviously are the five we're hopping around, and potentially a Chelsea striker, maybe Werner, later on in the month. But in kind of last week's episode, we talked through all these, a lot of depth. Emrai, I surely need to get rid of Harvey Barnes now. He's weirdly out of favour. It is weird. I think Harvey Barnes is a fabulous player. I really don't understand. He will have 9.2 for a replacement. Problem is he's playing 4-3-3 with KDB and Grealish. So I would be locked into a midfield replacement if done now. Fingers crossed for Antonio being fit on Friday. 9.2 and he's in a 4-3-3. Dan, I'm coming to you first this time. Oh no, I went to you first last time. Paul, 9.2.
Have you got an answer for this one, Dan?
Yeah, I'd say I think Antonio, I don't think he's going to be fit though, is he? That's a bit worrying, isn't it? That he played 45 minutes, and although it is the only game on Friday, so you can check the lineup first. Because it's Antonio, though, I would wait until about 15 minutes before the game kicks off, because he'll probably get injured in the warm-up. But I don't know. That's a tricky. It really depends on who you got. Like I'd be saying Chilwell, Zuma, Diaz, if you got him.
He's locked in a midfielder move, I think.
Oh, yeah. What's he on, a 3-4-3?
He's
4-3-3.
4-3-3.
Yeah, that's tricky.
I think if you haven't got a player for tomorrow, you could maybe look at Ward-Prowse or Romeo or something like that potentially. But
if he wants, send me a screen. Send me his team on Twitter later tonight, and I'll have a look. That is hard to say without seeing your team in it, sort of thing. But send it to me later if you want, mate, and I can have a look.
I'm not suggesting that everybody should go for the midfield of Grealish, KDB, and Bruno. It seems like they're the highest point scoring midfielders just now, and a lot of top managers have that as their base to midfield. So if that's the case, and you were looking at getting Bruno in long term, now I know you've only got 9.2 million to spend, and Bruno's 10.8, I think, or something like that. But there's a perfect hop on spot based on that daisy chain move that we've all made for Thursday the 17th to get Bruno back in. I would personally, if I was in that position, ride the two games where he might or might not play. So you've got Leicester at home to Brighton next Sunday, and then Leicester at home to Everton on Wednesday the 16th, before Bruno plays away at Sheffield United, when everyone's hopping back on, or a lot of people are hopping back on. So I would make a downgrade somewhere in your team that you're gaining an extra game over that period of time to give you the money to upgrade to Bruno.
Agree. Question from Ian Parrin. So he's been asked a question. How many transfers do you want to have left at the second overhaul? Is keeping 50% of your current total a decent ballpark figure? What excellent question. So we've had the date now for the second overhaul, haven't we? It's I think it's early this year, isn't it? After game week 23.
It's after the weekend of the 22nd in Sky. So Saturday the 6th, that weekend will be the last fixtures before the overhaul. So I think I'm right in saying there's 15 game weeks after that.
Yeah.
Obviously depends where then they fit in that Manchester United v Burnley from the first day of the season. Whether that will fit in before then or not. I was thinking, I don't know. As long as you've got over 15, I think, because you'll still be on one a game week, won't you? But I don't know. I think to have even 15 to 20, just as a sort of a rough sort of guess around then. Depends how you play it, really. If you now blast through this month or so and try to get some good points on the board, then there's one way of doing it. But yeah, 15 to 20, I think.
Yeah, that's cool. We've had a couple of questions about goalkeepers getting rid of Patricio, and I think there was another one a bit further up as well. I think we said last week general advice is probably not to, but if we were, I would personally say Meslier for me looks the best option. He's probably the cheapest playing keeper until the overhaul, and Leeds fixtures from now until the overhaul are very nice as well. I think we mentioned, was it Martinez last week? Maybe Mendy at 7 million. Dan, you like Mendy, didn't you?
Yeah, I like Mendy. Except, like I say, he's 0.1 more than Patricio, isn't he?
Yeah.
I know I'd rather have for 0.1 more.
I was thinking last week, I wonder whether Ederson, I know he's expensive, right? But City keep a lot of clean sheets. And okay, he's 8 million, but he also gets 9 points minimum every time they keep clean sheets. And and he's good in goal as well, right? So I had him a lot last year, and he got a fair few 11 pointers for me last year. And their fixtures up until the overhaul are actually really nice as well. I think they've got two difficult away games, Chelsea and Spurs, I want to say, but either side of that, they're really, really nice. I think that if you're concerned of rotation for players, maybe like Walker, Cancelo potentially, I do think Ederson at 8 million could get a fair few points till the overhaul. Not a bad shout, maybe. He says about his own advice, not a bad shout. But
if you were adamant about getting rid of Patricio, they play on the first calendar day on the midweek games on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So was that Tuesday the 15th December? They play Chelsea, and then like the two budget options that we've all mentioned, Mesley and Martinez, and Nick Pope as well. They all play after that, so you would get the extra game doing the move then. Again, I'm not suggesting that you use a transfer on the goalkeeper, but if you were adamant about doing it, then that's a good opportunity there.
Agree. Okay, so let's have a look at next game week 14. So just to remind everyone, from this Saturday, from Friday, it gets very, very thick and fast. Basically from now until the start of January. There's games most days from now till the start of January, so you really need to be on it. Make sure to set your captains. That's really important. So Friday the 11th of December, we got Leeds and West Ham. Saturday, early kickoff, we get to see Wolves v Villa, Newcastle versus West Brom, which is potentially under threat as a fixture. So those with Newcastle, if you've still got Wilson or someone like that, keep an eye on that because he could be a transfer out. I'm sure we'll hear something later on this week. Man United v Man City, which I won't have Bruno for, which I'm a bit nervous about. And then Everton versus Chelsea, which promises to be an absolute cracker in the 8 o'clock game on Saturday. On Sunday, we get to the lineups for Southampton, Sheffield United. Then it's Palace v Spurs, Fulham, Liverpool, Arsenal versus Burnley. That's going to be an exciting one, isn't it? And then Leicester and Brighton. So who we normally go to first? Let's go to Dan first on this one. Friday.
So I've got Dallas, like I think most people have. I don't know. I quite like Bamford as a shout. I know that sounds really weird, but Bamford, I think, he just always seems to score, doesn't he? And they say you have him from West Ham and the following week.
He's only got 2 points twice this season.
He's awesome.
So he's a good shout. Like, I'd rather be sitting with Bamford as captain on Friday than Dallas. So I don't know. At the minute, I'm on Dallas. I just don't know if I can get to Bamford. So yeah, Dallas. Saturday, I think just De Bruyne again against United. Man City will probably be 3-0 up first half, won't they? So hopefully he'll do something. I thought he was going to get a full house this weekend. He was, apart from the pass and when it was like, but then I was a bit at half time. He was on 16 points at half time when he, or something like that. And you're like, oh my God, he's going to get like 50 points. Then you look at the end, you're like, what? He did nothing in the second half, like, apart from get, I don't know, shot bonus tier 2 or something.
He hit the bar and missed an easy one-on-one as well. He should have got a lot more points.
But it's annoying. You think, he's got another 45 minutes of football, and annoying. So probably De Bruyne. I have got Zuma as an option. Chelsea away to Everton. So just love Zuma. And then Sunday, I think got to be Salah, innit? Away to Fulham. So that's mine.
Paul, what about you?
Yeah, same. Dallas, De Bruyne and Zuma. Dallas, De Bruyne and Salah. And I will be making one move, which will be bringing Zuma in for Ben White on Saturday.
I think I'm probably saying so. I'm Dallas. I do like the Antonio shout, but I think he's going to be out now, and he for a few more weeks. And he's just, even if you bring him in, he'll probably score a goal and pull his hamstring, in the same game. He's really frustrating to own. I know there's plenty of managers who've been done on him twice already this season, so I'll probably go for Dallas. He seems to be getting the bonus most games. Ayling seems to be quite close, but he's not quite getting there at the moment. On Saturday, then, I'll go for De Bruyne. I haven't got Bruno because obviously we've got Salah as part of this move. It's the only one we're missing for Bruno. But Bruno, I mean, when he came on yesterday, he turned the game, as he does every single game against whoever he plays. He's such a wonderful, wonderful player that I'm quite scared of not owning him actually. Even if it is against Man City, even though United are not very good at home, with it, especially in the first half. And I will very likely be taking out Ayling for Zuma on Saturday as well. I think for anyone who's counting, that will be my 12th transfer of the season.
Only 12. Only 12.
Only 12. I know it's.
Don't say
I know there's rumours and whatever else, but only 12. I'll have 28 left after that, and I'm not going to kick off this week after last week's shenanigans. And then on Sunday, so I've got Kane, Vardy, and Salah. I will very likely go for Salah. I thought Fulham looked very open against Man City. Yes, I thought that 2-0 was very kind on Fulham. Actually, they absolutely ripped them to bits, and I can see Salah doing exactly the same thing next week. So probably go for Salah on that one. Before then, obviously, we've got the games on the Tuesday and Wednesday, but we will cover them off next Sunday when we know more. When all our teams are injured, Zuma gets a red card, and wherever else we'll cover all those off. There. So just a couple of updates on mini leagues. This is the Fantasy Football Hub £500 league in 10th place. This is from last night, so this is not updated obviously from the scores now. Kerry Vintis up from 13th to 10th. Well done, Kerry. Christopher Forbes down to 9th. Michelle Burnett in 8th. Ryan West in 7th. John Butchart in 6th. Colin Price in 5th. Stuart Bullow down to 4th. Oliver Colgan down to 3rd. Sean Robertson at 4th place up to 2nd. He's got 1,084 points. And Benjamin Lee still sits on top with 1,094 points, not including today's game. So that is very, very good. Well done there, Benjamin Lee. And the Four Nations Leagues, we'll skip through this very, very quickly. Liam is bottom. The podcast team, which I purposely haven't got up because I completely balls it up last weekend. So I'll provide an update on that next week maybe. But basically, I forgot to bring in De Bruyne for Van Aanholt for his captaincy haul last Saturday, and I've had a bit of a nightmare there. Paul McAnulty's second team, House Husband's Fave, is in 6th. Dan Cox down 1 to 5th. Liam is slowly climbing. Liam Dorrian representing Ireland is climbing up. He's up into 4th with 998. He is well amongst it now. Myself and Dan were on exactly the same point, 1008, but it shows Dan is 2nd and me in 3rd. I'm absolutely fuming about. I'm not sure what is going on.
It's based on your last week's game week score. I think.
Oh, okay.
So
fair enough.
So yeah.
No, that's fair enough. And top by 20 points. Paul, you're opening up a lead. 1,028. Obviously, again, not including today's games.
Yeah, you'll have caught up a little bit with Salah.
A little bit.
Like having him as captain was that 6 points difference. So.
6 points, yeah, it's not a lot, but yeah, I'll be closing up. So that's the Four Nations League. Scotland at the moment, are doing the business for Paul. Well done, Paul. So finally, just in terms of my questionable bet, the only one I've got open at the moment. So I've got one with Dan on Chelsea clean sheets. Bamford, come on. 1-1 for clean sheets. You're having a mare there, mate. They have to keep 5 clean sheets in the next 6. Otherwise we're good. I will no doubt make some questionable bet this week with Paul over something, which we'll give an update on next week. And finally, on to Dan's rant. Dan, what has upset you this week?
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to give everyone a bollocking?
No, I'm okay. Get off the stream.
Do you know what annoyed me, actually? I put out a little tweet like, whose was better, Fergie's hairdryer or my rant, and they all voted for your thing.
Here we go.
So they want the Fergie's hairdryer. Plus, it sounds wicked, doesn't it?
I think it's the Irish
hairdryer.
Yeah,
Dan's rant.
It's the Irish
Fergie's hairdryer. Right, I like the Fergie's hairdryer. So yeah, got a few things right. So Zaha, that was just I put out a tweet before the game. I knew that was going to happen. They're not like, I know I'm not saying that he would have scored 2 goals against Newcastle, whoever we need him for. Do you know what I mean? That he weren't in for them 2 games, but that was just always the way, wasn't it? 19 points today after being taken out of 44,000 teams. It's just annoying, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If you did keep hold of him, then well done. Unless you ain't got any transfers left, then not so well done. But so Zaha. That Pogba goal, right? How did they not see that was about a metre over the line?
Unbelievable.
I'd be fuming with that. And I'm a bit annoyed at Pogba, right? Because if he'd be such a good pick, wouldn't he? If he could play, like, I don't know, good every week. Do you know what I mean? He'd be such a pick. So he's a bit annoying. What else was I going to say? What annoyed me this week? Vardy annoyed me today. 2 foot in the corner flag, yellow card. Like, that's annoying. Lost the point there.
Especially as captain.
He totally smashed it, didn't he? They checked it for VAR, and I'm thinking he's going to get sent off or something here, aren't he? Do you know what I mean? Just thought, but yellow card, annoying, completely smashed it. I didn't want to mention about our little Secret Santa we've got going. I'm quite excited about that. We've done a little Secret Santa here, so we've done a draw, and I don't know, not next Sunday, probably the Sunday after, and it will open up our gifts that we've sent to each other. We're not going to know beforehand. We're just going to open them up, aren't we?
We are.
I've got Paul. Paul's got you. You've got me.
Yeah. So are we going to do something as in, kind of whatever it is, we have to, I don't know, parade it or
show it
or whatever.
Show it here or
whatever it is.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, do something like that. So that's pretty exciting.
Strap it on.
I had a bit of a nightmare today as well. My son ages ago, he saw this thing, Lego Advent Calendar, right? We've got a Star Wars Lego Advent Calendar anyway, so he's sorted. But he made this Advent Calendar out of Lego, and he put all his chocolates in it. He spent ages doing it. Today, I only bloody dropped it, right? I'll take it upstairs. That completely smashed to bits, right? So I thought, oh my Jesus. I spent about half an hour, right? I put it all back together, trying to remember how it was, this, that, and the other, and it took me ages. Basically, about 10 minutes later, after I'd done it, he came up, so I'm going to take this apart now because I've got another Advent Calendar, and I just spent half an hour doing that. So that's annoying. And do you know what else is confusing me? I don't know if I'm in some parallel universe. You're 20th in Sun. You're going to win 75 grand. What's going on? 20th, like.
I dropped a bit now. I'm about, actually, I dropped about 28th. I have got Salah and Robertson, so I might have jumped back up into the top 20.
Nice, that's unbelievable, mate. This time of year to be like up there, so keep going with that. Just what to say as well. I'll finish my rant, but like, thanks for everyone for like sending your questions and being live. Like we got, I think when I looked, we had like 136 or something people watching live. Like, thanks for tuning in and supporting us and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for that.
Exactly 136 now to the actual number. Yeah, exactly 136. Incredible.
So yeah, thanks for being here. Definitely. we like to be listener led and stuff, don't we? So thanks for being here. And if you hit the like button, I think that's about it. Me hit done, mate. Not been a bad weekend, so yeah, I'm pretty happy.
I got one or two hairdryer moments. The first one, I put it on Twitter earlier. I couldn't believe what I was listening to after the Spurs Arsenal match earlier. I don't know if you saw it, but the pundits, you had Souness and Jamie Redknapp. And Jamie Redknapp was basically saying, Spurs are boring to watch. What are they doing? La, la, la. They've just beaten their North London rivals 2-0 very, very comfortably, kept a clean sheet. 2 weeks before that, they beat Man City 2-0. And the week before that, they drew away to Chelsea. So in the last 3 games against Man City, Chelsea and Arsenal, they've taken 7 points out of 9, haven't conceded a goal. And the previous 3 games before that, they won all 3 as well. So they've got 17 points out of 18, conceded about 2 goals in that time. They're top of the league. They're playing brilliant football. And Jamie Redknapp and Graham Souness are saying, they're not entertaining to watch. And I just thought, when Spurs played West Ham and, they were 3-1 up and and going for the 4th, right? And Lanzini scored that wonderful goal. Don't get me wrong, it was a wonderful goal, right? For 3-0. They only allowed them back into that game because Spurs went on to try and score a 4th, right? I don't remember with Bale, he went clean through and somehow managed to miss. And they came back for 3-0. And everyone after that is saying, you shut up shop. If you shut up shop, you shut up shop. And then they're top of the league. They've got the highest goal difference I think they've ever had in the Premier League. They are probably at the moment the hardest team to play in the Premier League. And all they get after is how boring it all is. I was just absolutely stunned. I just thought, if they'd have had a 2-0 lead at half time and Arsenal would have come back and won 3-2, they would have just said, they should have just, shut up shop, just whatever, which is exactly what they did. But I was just really surprised about that. And just one other thing, I was on Twitter, I couldn't believe my eyes this morning when I went on Twitter this morning and I saw something about, can we not post points on Twitter because some people are getting upset.
I was going to mention that.
I was like, what? I just what's even the point of talking to anyone or even playing matches?
That's why I don't upset people. So I think people are just a bit too sensitive. And do you know what I mean? If I have a really terrible week, don't really happen to be honest, but do you know what I mean? If I had a really bad week, I just wouldn't go on Twitter and just because you're going to see someone who's captain someone who you ain't got, and it's nightmare, innit? So just because what we're going to do, say, okay, you pick your team, but we're not going to add any points on if you don't upset anyone. So do you know what I mean? I don't want to pay you captained De Bruyne Saturday, but someone else captains Fernandez or something. Do you know what I mean? Who's still got an assist or whatever. It's not too bad. It's not the end of the world. But do you know what? That's just let's not put points on it because people are getting upset about this. They were badging
it, as a mental health thing, and a mental health is a really, really serious thing. But don't badge stuff like that as mental health things, right? You control your own timeline on Twitter. You control who you follow and who you don't. You make the decision to go on Twitter. If you don't like it, don't go on there. And if it is affecting you that much, don't play fantasy football because it's just a game. It's a competitive game. I mean, what's good? What'll be next, right? So if Kane scores goals against Arsenal, he goes over and he's like, oh no, we can't celebrate, or cheer, in case you upset the Arsenal players. And I mean, it's just it's competitive whether you like it or not, right? Just absolutely mad.
But that is what people are going to do with the scores, aren't it? I don't mind having a laugh. I think I remember when I saw you and he got sent off against Bournemouth. He was on for a clean sheet when he then got sent off. Then they let in about 3 or 4 goals or whatever. And I'd sort of put on Twitter I saw you and it's nightmare, but you got to laugh about it, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you get the people that sometimes they'll only post their good scores. They'll only post their winning bet. You always get that.
But if you don't like them, this is. My whole point about this is, if you don't like it, don't follow him. Follow other people. You're in complete control. You can't tell people who you have followed what they should and shouldn't post. It's you made the decision to follow them. It's not the other way around. Absolutely bizarre.
But like I said, if you did have a nightmare weekend, I think that first week when we didn't have Vardy, did when he scored 2 fluky pens, and you're like, oh God,
Or the Salah hat-trick on the Saturday. We didn't have either.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like, we've got to go on that stream Sunday night. I think even people messaged me saying like, you did well to come on. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, but that's the roller coaster of it. The first week is thinking like, oh my God, this is going to be painful, isn't it?
Because you say, try coming, I write my articles every week. Last year I had an absolute stinker in every format. And every week I had to write my article to say basically what a complete prick I was and how every bad decision I've made, another bad decision after bad decision, and people actually read my articles for advice. And I literally ended up saying, don't follow my advice. This is what I'm doing. Don't follow it because I'm having a mate. And it's the same as this streamer. You have to come on this stream. I remember, was it Van Dijk, Dan? You captained him and he had -4. And it was just
my God, when they let in 7 goals.
Against Villa. Yeah. You've just got to laugh. You've just got to laugh.
Or the Soyuncu red card last season as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think we were on after that, weren't we, as well?
Yeah.
It was just like...
So funny.
But then that annoyed me, though, because I'm happy to have a laugh at it and think like, oh, my God, like, you just go through spells where just all your luck's bad, but then you get sort of some people are then being a bit snide about it. You're like, you know what I mean?
Enjoy the highs, right? You get so many lows in fantasy football, and and at the moment in life, right? It's hard in life. It's hard in fantasy at the moment. If you get the highs, if you nail your captaincy, bloody enjoy it. That's what I do. I was laughing my head off earlier. I captained Salah, you two had Vardy, and I was like, I can't wait to see the boys tonight. I'm gonna give it to them and all this. But obviously, like last week, it was the other way around wherever it was. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, let's get off that.
You got to just have a laugh and enjoy it. It's a game. It's just a game. Do you know what I mean? Especially these ones that play FPL. There's no even money involved. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's just to kill a bit of time, isn't it? Let alone, I just don't know. But yeah, anyway, if you don't enjoy it, don't do it.
It is worth something. It's worth a shot on the Green Arrow podcast, Dan.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that is a great show. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know. I had a good weekend in FPL. Well, till today, actually. I actually forget that. I did all right yesterday.
James Street says Paul is staying out of this. Does he secretly not like points being posted?
Oh no,
Paul's fuming inside. He's completely
no. So I mentioned and then I got slagged from used to for mentioning this live on air about a month ago. I went through Twitter and called hundreds of accounts that I was following, and when somebody someone posts something in an obnoxious way, I don't go on reply or cry about it. But what I do, I do genuinely unfollow them, and if people annoy me to that point. So now I follow people that I like. So it's not nobody offends me really.
I mute too much. If it's too much politics, mate, it's like,
do
you know what I mean? I'm not interested in that. Do you know what I mean? If you're talking about fantasy football while I'm here, that's fine. I don't mind a few little life things, general life. I know people unfollow if you put anything general life, don't they? But it's when you mix in politics in, I'm like, whoa, not into that, mate. Do you know what I mean? Not interested. So I just don't know. It just does. But I was going to actually, because I broke into 1,000 points yesterday, just 1,008 or something.
Stop showing off, Dan. I'm gonna
I was going to put on Twitter, who's in the 1,000 club? Do you know what I mean? And I thought, actually, do you know what I mean? There's probably a few people that aren't, so I don't want to be it, and just to make sound like you're being a prick. Do you know what I mean? So
you don't have to try hard to do that, mate. Fair play.
Oh no, mate. People have watched the 31, 32 episodes of this. They know that already. Wait till you meet me at the meetup we have next year. Jesus.
Indeed. Frank FF stuff wraps it up nicely. It's not life or death. It's much more important than that. Indeed, Frank. Okay, so that is it for us for this evening. Thank you so much, as usual, for supporting and interacting with us on this live stream. One favour, could everyone please retweet the podcast when we tweet it out later or tomorrow morning? And could we get some more likes? We've only got 56 likes. We should have a lot more than that. We had 130 odd watching earlier. Dan, where can people find you?
Twitter, Dan Cox 82. And my article in the Hub every Friday. So them. Twitter's been going mad today. Smoke was coming out of my phone today. It's been well busy.
Paul, where can people find you?
At Paul McAnulty 1. It's MCANULTY. Can I make a confession?
Yes, do.
Someone that listens to this podcast, and apologies, I can't remember the name, tagged us in a post and asked us to vote on a poll earlier on. And I was scrolling down and accidentally clicked on Jota when the poll came up for captaincy today. So I'll own up to that. And apologies, I didn't mean to vote for Jota in your captaincy poll. It was an accident.
Let's hope he didn't go off the strength of that then, Paul, innit? Because What do you have today at 1 point instead of?
Well, when I looked at it, like the options were like the most common options. So Vardy, Salah, Kane, and Jota was the fourth option.
And you clicked on Jota, you absolute bastard.
Yeah, because it was at the bottom. It was at the bottom, but I wasn't the only one.
Oh, really?
So he was like 27% out of the four of them. So I think he was like second highest. So I don't know if people were trying to steer the person off on the wrong direction. I genuinely didn't mean to do that. I was finger.
A few guys are asking about whether we're doing one on Friday evening. We'll let you know later in the week. It all depends, obviously, on work and availability and things like that. I think it's only Leeds and West Ham, is it? So we'll see. You know, if I don't know if Salah gets injured or De Bruyne does his hamstring or something like that, you know, then we'll maybe do like an emergency one. But we will see about that. My Twitter handle is at Fergie222. So this podcast and video will be on the Fantasy Football Hub, Sky and TFF YouTube channel, and also available in all major podcast platforms. If you like what you watch, please click the like button and remember to subscribe in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen if you enjoyed your listen. Please rate the podcast version, leave some comments. Some 5-star reviews and comments would be much appreciated for anyone who listens on Apple Podcasts. Our handles on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok are at FFH_HQ, and our podcast Twitter handle is at FFH_Sky. So please follow and feel free to ask any questions. Brownie says, my missus is laughing at all your rants. I think she's into Sky FF more than what I am. Quality lads, haha, indeed. She's at the right place on a Sunday evening. Our website is fantasyfootballhub.co.uk, where you'll find everything you need for fantasy football all under one roof, including player comparison tools, the fixture ticker, up to stats, top player team reveals, and much, much more. Good luck to all our watchers and listeners this week. We will be back next Sunday. Looking forward to Sky Game Week 15, which is going to be a bumper week. There's going to be a lot of fixtures on from next week onwards. We will see you then. Good night all.